they meet a man with such a strong frame that they comply. So I'm saying, yeah, okay, maybe to you they're your worst nightmare because you can't control them. But if you're half a man, there's no woman to fear. There's a whole bunch of men out here which are afraid of women. Oh, but she might have this compulsive. She might cheat. And I'm like, you don't have any real enemies. You've never had anybody try to kill you. Give me 1,000 women who might break my heart over one man who really wants me dead. Because I know who the enemies in the world are. I've seen it and I've been through it. So all these guys are out here worried about chicks. They don't understand the truth and the harsh realities of the world. There's people out here getting their brains blown out by their best friends. Nipsey Hussle's friend pulled a gun and fucking blew his brains out, not his woman. So you need to, if you're worried about chicks, you got the whole world messed up. You need to worry about predators. You need to worry about other men. Chicks are chicks. Enjoy them, find a good one, settle down. If you don't find a good one, keep fucking till you do, and just calm down. Stop being a little emotional bitch about it. This is the truth. They're saying that it's not particularly painful. It's just the most painful thing they've ever experienced.
Yeah.
So it's like if you have no upper threshold for pain, then little things are super painful. Like you said, if you've been through real shit, this shit doesn't matter. But if this is the most you've ever been through, it's the most painful thing in the world. So this is what happens. You're exactly right. People don't put themselves through difficulty. So when something happens in life, which is bound to happen, they have little breakdowns, little baby breakdowns. Boo-hoo, and they expect me to give a fuck. And nobody cares. And the thing about it? The thing about it is this. Women care the least.
Yeah,
women care the least. You hear these stories of like men killing themselves over a chick. And I guess in the final seconds, the man's thinking, this will make her really regret all those times she didn't. She'll be sucking her new dick next week, my friend.
Yeah. She'll just think you're a bigger wuss.
Yeah, they don't care.
Should be disgusted.
Exactly. They don't care because women live in a purely emotional realm.
Yeah.
And if they don't have any emotion towards you at that time, they don't have any emotion towards you at that time. This is it. And that's the reality of it. And this is another reason why, the reason I talk about sexless marriage all the time is sex is super, super important in relationships. I think they don't view you as a friend. This is the first thing. The second thing, women will come at you and say, why are you jealous? And I say, no, I'm not jealous. I'm territorial about things I care about. For the same reason, she goes, well, but don't you trust me? It says nothing to do with trust.
Yep.
I trust the locks on my Lamborghini, but I wouldn't let people try and break in. I'd say, get the fuck away from my car.
Right.
It's not yours. So for the same reason, even though I trust the security system on my car, and I trust, even though I don't trust her, I'll say I do, I trust your internal security system, I'm not going to let people be disrespectful to me as a man and openly try and poach something that's mine. Right. That's disrespectful. And there's two choices. I either care about you and I'm territorial, or I don't care about you and I'm not.
Exactly.
You can make the choice. If you really want to hang on those dudes, I'm not even saying we can't talk. I'm not saying that, no problem. But don't expect me to give a fuck about you in the way I could give a fuck about you. And when you tell women, this is one of the key things, when you tell women, I will care about you less if you act X way, it's very hard for them to act that way because they want you to care.
Right.
They want that emotional energy from you. You're like, you're making a choice that's going to end in a detriment to how much I give a fuck about you. And if they make that choice, you have to act accordingly. If she makes that choice and you keep acting like you love her, then she ain't going to feel it. She has to feel it. This is the second thing about the whole thing that's really crazy, this whole male friends thing. Third thing, it's never been normal. This is some new think bullshit. In the 1960s and 70s, it's never been normal. And I always say to girls, I say, does your mother hang around with a bunch of guys? She's like, what do you mean? Well, your mother's with your dad most of the time. Yeah. Is your mom's with your dad? What would your dad say if your mom went out partying with a bunch of men?
Right. I
say that, and they actually go, yo, no. The idea of their mother doing that actually offends them. Right. Like, no, like that's not. So why the fuck are you doing it? Like, what, your mother's a better woman than you? Did she not raise you right? And when you put it on that dynamic, a lot of them actually snap and go, yeah, you're right. But then what they do is, with me anyway, then they go, yeah, but I don't know you're serious. And that's the real issue. Then they come down to, well, do you actually care about me? I don't know you're serious. And I say, well, how can we ever become serious if you're hanging around with a bunch of men? Then I can never be serious about you without looking like a punk. So if you truly believe there's a future for us, you're going to have to make a decision now about whether you're going to act accordingly. Yes or no? And if you lay down those points and you can be quite humorous with it, you can be quite funny, but in a very nonchalant way. You can't be. A lot of the people talk about mate guarding and all these red pill guys, and you can't get angry at her.
Yeah.
Like I see guys go, "Oh, you're hanging around with them dudes." Da, da, da.
Right.
Then she wins.
Yeah.
'Cause she's pissing you off.
And you're insecure.
Emotional energy, and now you're insecure. When you say, "Oh, you're going to hang around with a bunch of dudes," yeah, I don't normally date girls like that. I like
Exactly.
you. I like you. You're cool, but those kind of girls, like, I don't know. Why do you trust me? It's like, oh, it's not about trust. It's just, I don't know. It's not my thing. I just find it disrespectful. I don't like those kind of girls. So now you're telling her she's not a good person.
Exactly.
You flipped it on her.
Instead of pulling her and trying to grab her, you're pushing her, which is the key. Yeah.
Exactly. And now she's like, well, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a hoe. I'm not a hoe. I'm like, well, would your mom do this? Would your mom hang around with a bunch of guys? That's what I'm going to do. I'm just asking. Like, your mom's with your dad. Like, they have a relationship and they had a family. And like, if we're ever going to be anything serious, I just don't think it's normal. It's not the kind of thing I'd be. I wouldn't want my wife hanging around with a bunch of men. Yeah, but we're not married yet. Like, but how can we ever advance towards anything if this is what you're doing? Just keep laying it down, and you'll see they usually comply. Now, if the woman won't comply and she really wants to hang around with those dudes, then she's going to suck their dicks anyway. So then at that point, there's nothing you can do. Just accept she's a lost cause. And the truth is, if a woman truly loves a man, she doesn't want to hang around with dudes.
Exactly.
She doesn't. I put another thing I put on Twitter, one of my banned accounts. I said, if a woman truly loves a man, she doesn't find other men attractive.
Right.
And I put this up, and it blew up. And everyone's like, my girl thinks Idris Elba's number one. It's like dudes coming along saying how their girls fancy other men. It went viral. It's like 10,000 retweets.
Right.
And everyone's calling me insecure. I'm like, I know that if a woman truly loves another man, they don't like men. We can look at a woman still want to fuck her. They don't view men that way. They're like, no, I love him. They're uninterested. Men become like trees. They become obsessed with the one they really love. So if you're a woman sitting there going, oh, I'd fuck him or this celebrity or that. Or
right,
that,
exactly.
You have a problem. It's a real problem. You're not insecure to sit there and say, why are you talking about having sex with another guy? That's disrespectful. I don't want a wife to do
Right, exactly. Yeah. The response to that should be, get the fuck out.
Yeah, it's not normal.
Yeah.